Welcome back to GTD. If you're a close friend of mine, you know it is my favorite time of the year. Post All-Star break, before trade
It's
deadline, all the
Christmas.
rumors, all the speculation, it pretty much is for me. All the theories. I mean, if you've watched this show for a long period of time, you know every time I can to like have a theory, like Alex Bowman, Daytona 500 winner, I put him into the video. I love like sports theories. I'm like, you're probably thinking this guy's a political nut job. No, it's only like it's only sports related. Like I don't think there's like aliens controlling Mexico or anything like that. It's only sports related because they're fun and interesting, and it's rabbit holes you can go down, especially in baseball when there's so many moving pieces. So the trade deadline is coming up, and we've listed some guys, probably the biggest names that can be teeter-tottered this summer, and we're gonna go through them. We're gonna go through them pretty quick because there's a lot of guys, and we're just gonna say yes, no, maybe this, that. And like, yes, if yes, best team fit or one or two teams. But we're going to get right into it because I can't hold my pee anymore. Okay, trade deadline predictions. I think we just have to start with the Diamondbacks. Micah, do the Diamondbacks move bodies or do they not move bodies?
I think they move a lot of people. I think all four of the guys on this list are going to be moved for the Diamondbacks, that being Eugenio Suarez, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Josh Naylor. I think all four of those guys get moved at the deadline.
I agree. Now, I know there's a huge argument. Okay, Diamondbacks are only a few games out of the wild card. They can go get some back into their bullpen because they don't have any, and they're in good shape. I don't think that's the approach they take. I think they get rid of their rentals, and then they, have a better team in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. You have Corbin Carroll, who's your foundation, and you have some guys coming up through your system that you can rely on. You have some young pitchers, and I think they go get some people just to help out their bats. They need bats for the future. They don't need bats for this year because they're not winning World Series. We know that. So yeah. I think they move bodies. So let's run through them. Suarez, Eugenio Suarez. First of all, this is Monday night when we're recording this. He is the best hitter in baseball right now. He is on fire. So his price tag has skyrocketed. Now, it is the 21st. We still have, I guess, 10 days now? Whew.
Yeah.
We have 10 days to the deadline. His price is probably where it's at. Like, even if he goes 0 for 15, I don't see his price dropping a whole lot. He's going to be... Do you think he's the biggest trade piece?
I would say right now, for sure. He's gotten so hot right now, and having this kind of a season, I think he definitely has the highest price tag on this list right now. And honestly,
I agree.
If you're the Seattle Mariners, I think you need to make that call. As much as a Reds fan, I would love us to add him back in GABP. I think Seattle needs to make a call for this guy.
Yes, I'm right there with you. He is the biggest trade piece, and it's perfect that there are 5 teams I can name right now that need third basemen. Mariners, you just mentioned. They not only a third baseman, a right-handed hitter. There you go. Boom. Chicago Cubs. Matt Shaw, young kid.
Please no.
He's going to be your guy for the future. But if the Cubs get Suarez in the lineup with their offense this year, they, I think, instantly become National League favorites for the World Series.
Gino in a Cubs jersey would make me vomit.
It would not make me vomit. But moving on to the Brewers. Brewers, I mean, it'll only help what they have going on. Right. It'll only help what they have going on. Yankees. People talk about it all year. Yankees need a third baseman. They have people to move. They have money. So, there you go. And then I said 5. Seattle, Cubs. Oh, Detroit. I know McKinstry has been giving them production. But McKinstry's also a guy who can play anywhere. Suarez is also a guy who can DH from time to time if you want to give him a day off. Just saying. The Detroit Tigers could use the bat. They need a guy who, in the playoffs, if Skubal gets in trouble, they have a guy that can just change the game with the swing, but they need more than one in the playoffs. And Suarez can be that guy. But we probably take the longs on Suarez because he is Suarez. Moving on to other Diamondbacks guys. Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Which one has the higher price tag?
I know a lot of people are going to say Merrill Kelly right now just because Zach Gallen's been awful. I think Zach Gallen is still going to be... I think Zach Gallen, just because what he can do when he's on his game. You know what the best version of Zach Gallen is. I think the Diamondbacks are trying to sell that best version, and you never know. Change of scenery might be all he needs, and I think that maybe a change of scenery north of the border up to Toronto, Canada might be just what Zach Gallen needs.
I love your headspace. I love changing sceneries. I don't think that's how GMs think. I don't think that's how they think at the deadline. At the deadline, they want to know who's winning now and who can win in the next month. And that's Merrill Kelly. I think Merrill Kelly gets the higher price tag. I think they're both gone. Well, honestly, I see a world where Zach Gallen doesn't get traded. I see a world where Arizona asks for something. They don't get it. They keep him, give him a qualifying offer, and give him a compensatory pick. Compensatory. Yeah, I said that right, I think.
Yeah.
They get one of those. They get a compensatory pick, but Merrill Kelly does go. Now, where does he go? It's kind of interesting. A lot of the teams that need third basemen also need starting pitching. Cubs, Yankees, Toronto.
If Boston's trying to buy at the deadline, I could see him going there.
Boston, I feel like, yeah, I could see, yeah. Boston. If Boston makes moves to solidify their spot in a wild card or make a final push for the division, it'll be pitching. Their bats are decent. I maybe go grab a first baseman, but there's not. I mean, we'll talk about one later. But yeah, I think they'll get pitching as well. I don't really have a perfect fitting spot for Merrill Kelly. If you would, it'd probably be the Cubs again. That could probably be a package deal. You get Suarez in the Cubs. Now they'd have to give up a lot, and we'll see if they're willing to do that or if they want to do that. Because Owen Casey would probably be the name floated around because he's the number one prospect for them. But is that a guy that you think could be another Peter Armstrong? I don't know. We'll see. Now Naylor, last guy we have for the Diamondbacks. Is he gone?
I think he's gone as well. And if it wasn't an interdivisional trade, I would say this guy has San Francisco Giants written all over him. However, I think this is another guy that if Boston's making moves, you've had the injuries at first base, Tristan Casas with the injury, and then the whole Devers thing that went down. I think that bringing in Josh Naylor to do that for you might be just the thing that Boston needs if they're trying to buy at the deadline now since they've been winning recently.
Yeah, I think Boston makes a move for a first baseman, like I just said. Now, I know this guy was at the bottom of our list, but we'll just talk about him now. Ryan O'Hearn is the other guy. Orioles, Red Sox, interdivisional. I get it.
That's why I have them flopped. I have O'Hearn going to San Fran and Josh Naylor going to Boston because that way you don't get any interdivisional trades. It would kind of make more sense for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think Naylor is the better pickup. I think yes. Naylor, this right now, like I just said, who's winning now? Who could win in a month? I'm going Naylor over O'Hearn, and for that reason, I think the Red Sox go after him more so than I don't know. I think they're going to go after Naylor and then maybe pivot to O'Hearn. But I'm right there with you. I think both of those guys end up playing first for someone else, especially Naylor. I do think if one of those guys were to stay, like I said, it'd be Zach Gallen. Moving on. Wait, what are your thoughts on O'Hearn? You just said Giants.
Giants.
Okay. Now, let's talk about closers. Brent Rooker and Ryan Helsley. Mm-hmm. I think
Helsley's a Dodger. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Helsley's a Dodger.
Yeah. I think so too. What about Brent Rooker? Not Brent.
I could see. Sorry. I was about to say that's a deviation from closers here. I could see the Yankees wanting Mason Miller. Maybe Detroit. I feel like Detroit doesn't have a nailed-on closer as much despite how good their team is. I could see them going after him as well. I think he stays American League for Mason Miller because the Dodgers, I think, are already going to have Ryan Helsley. So I think Mason Miller, if he does get moved, I'm not 100% sure Mason Miller gets moved at this point, but if he does, I think he stays American League.
I'm with you, American League. I'm going Yankees. I think he goes to the Yankees, really solidify the back end of that bullpen. That's picked up a little bit of steam here and there throughout the season, but if they want to win it all, you need a dude back there that you can just count on every time. And I don't think, if you ask a Yankees fan, they have that guy. They may like some people every month, this month, that month, but I don't think they have that guy. So I'm going Mason Miller to the Yankees. Now, I just mentioned him, Brent Rooker, his teammate. Do you think he gets traded?
No. I think the A's have had a ton of opportunity to trade Brent Rooker. They keep refusing to do it for some reason. I think they want to keep him. I don't know why in particular, because the A's have always seemed like, oh, we're never afraid to move guys ever. But the one exception for some reason seems to be Brent Rooker. So I'm gonna keep going by that. I'm gonna say they don't move him.
I see if there was a perfect fit for him and a team I think would really go after him, it'd be the Mariners. But I don't think the A's send anybody to the Mariners, so I'm with you. I don't think he gets traded. But I do think you'll hear rumors of the Mariners trying to go get him.
Oh, for sure. And to stay kind of with hitters, I know Brent Rooker's not totally a DH, but a DH, Marcell Ozuna, I think he's a Padre.
I like that. That fits their team. That fits their build. I really like that.
Perfect DH for that lineup instantly.
Yeah. He's another guy who the Mariners jump out at. Righty bat. I think he goes out west. I don't see any team other than maybe the Red Sox or Toronto. I could see Toronto going after him, but it's either Toronto or out west. I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
All right. Moving on to Stephen Kwan here for the Guardians. And if the Cincinnati Reds decide to buy at the deadline, I guarantee you they go after Stephen Kwan. It fits with what this organization wants to do. They want just slap hitters for some reason. We're in love with that kind of hitter, and Stephen Kwan fits that. We've had kind of a gaping hole in left field a lot of the year. Gavin Lux has moved around. He's in a bunch of stuff, but our outfield is the weakness of the team. But we need a power-hitting outfielder, and even though I disagree, I think the organization would want to go after Stephen Kwan despite him not quite fitting that. I could also see him going to Philly. I think he'd be a good contact boost for a Philly lineup that oftentimes has a ton of power, but not a ton of guys to get just consistently on base in front of that power. So I could see him going to Philly and then maybe the Mets as well.
The Mets, yeah. I could see the Phillies. I think the Phillies need an extra bat. I can't believe. Honestly, if the Phillies are going to get a bat, it's probably going to be a third baseman. I meant to mention them when we were talking about the big third baseman hitters. But Stephen Kwan's a nice bat, a solid bat. He kind of fits into that lineup. He's not your Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, just gonna send it over and over and over. But he can get on base for those guys. So I think he might be a good 6 or 7 slot hole hitter for them, and maybe he's on base when Kyle Schwarber comes back up to play. And I can see the Phillies trying to make a push for him. And then Seth Lugo. I know this is a guy you really think is going to get traded. Are you still there?
Well, do you think he gets traded first is what I'm curious about.
I don't. I do not.
Well, that's interesting because I think he's a Chicago Cub.
Interesting.
I think he becomes a Chicago Cub, stays in that Midwest area. He's been great over the last few seasons, consistently right around that 3 ERA mark. And I think as much as I would not like to see it as a Reds fan, I think he'd be a perfect insert into that rotation.
I think he would probably be the pitcher, especially out of all the ones we've talked about. But then if you bring in Sandy from the Marlins and, some other guys.
Want Sandy?
No. But what I'm saying is I think this guy, Seth Lugo, would be the one pitcher that doesn't have the super high price tag like we talked about Merrill Kelly. So I think
Cubs.
I think it would fit. I think it would fit for the Cubs because they don't like dishing a whole lot of their prospects. So now that you kind of talking me into it, I don't think it happens, but he would be that guy where you could give up just enough to please the Royals, but you're not giving up your 4 to 5 years from now starters or anything like that. So yeah, that's actually that's a soft news trade that I could see happening day of deadline. And then another guy who honestly, he's a little different because he's got more control. So he's got a tad bit higher price tag, but it's Mitch Keller. Now the Pirates don't run their organization like any other team. They're a little different.
Not in a good way.
I think he's a guy that gets dished at the deadline. I think he's another guy, just like Seth Lugo, who could end up on the Cubs, maybe the Yankees, but I'm going Cubs for Mitch Keller.
I think 3 years of team control is going to be a high price. So you're going to need a team who's going to be willing to move a lot for this guy at the deadline. And I think that if the Blue Jays run out of luck on the starting pitcher front, this might be their last ditch. Oh, we're going to go all in, get Mitch Keller, try to bring him in. So I'm not 100% sure he gets moved, but if he does, I think Toronto is a good candidate for him.
Yeah. And our last and final guy, Cedric Mullins. What do you have
Cedric
on
Mullins?
C. Mullins?
Well, Cedric Mullins, I think I like him to the NL East teams again. I know we've talked about the Mets and Phillies a lot. I feel like he would be a decent insert into there. And then the Astros, too. I feel like if the Astros wanted to add an outfield bat, you could see Cedric Mullins staying in Orange and heading to Houston.
I don't see Cedric Mullins getting traded at all. I don't see any team.
He's in a contract year.
We need Cedric Mullins right now. There's a lot of guys in a contract year. There's a lot of guys in a contract year that we're not even talking about getting traded. And
hold on.
I don't think he gets traded. Now,
like I know he's hitting 216, which isn't good, but he does have. I don't know.
He's hitting under 190 the last month. That's my reason. He's cold as.
He's gonna cost like a half-eaten pickle. You can give him your 30th best prospect.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you call the Orioles asking for Ryan O'Hearn and they go, you can have this guy too for a sandwich.
This is Trey Mancini to the Astros all over again. Orioles to Astros.
You know where this guy ends up?
Where?
Milwaukee, and he goes off.
You're right. That's actually totally what happens.
But that's everybody we have to talk about. If we miss somebody you think is going to get traded, let us know. Or if it's somebody we talked about, but you think they go to a different team entirely, please let us know down in the comments. And now we're going to talk about teams specifically. So, Micah, one team you're buying, one team you're selling. Let's start with buying. Who are you buying for the second half of the year to make a run?
Well, I'm buying all the hopium that I can, and I'm buying the Cincinnati Reds. Hunter Green is coming back, so you get when healthy, a Cy Young level pitcher coming back. Andrew Abbott and Nick Lodolo have both been on fire. I think Lodolo's gone a bit under the radar, but he is just a quality start machine right now. They've both been great. The rest of the rotation is a bit of a mixed bag at times, but Chase Burns, when he's on, he's already shown the ability to be great, also shown the ability to get absolutely rocked. Nick Martinez up and down. Brady Singer just got shelled by the Nationals, but has mostly been up and down as well. But what I think is important for the Reds is for the first time all year, the hitters are really healthy. Gavin Lux is healthy all the time. Austin Hayes healthy all the time. Noelvi Marte actually back and healthy all the time. And this is in a period where Ellie hasn't hit a home run in 21 games, and the Reds are still playing good baseball right now. It's because he has a WRC plus of 110 despite not having a homer in 21 games. He is still hitting the ball great right now. He's gone to the Terry Francona and Barry Larkin school of hit the ball on the ground the other way, but I would like him to start hitting homers. I would really like him to start hitting homers, and if I hear our announcer say hit the ball on the ground the other way one more time, I might physically combust. But this team definitely looks a lot better now than it did in the awful May and June that the Reds had. And this team actually has momentum right now. If we can add a reliever or two at the deadline, I think we'll be in a much better spot. So I'm buying the Reds. Who are you buying?
Well, we do this with the Reds every year, so I'm definitely not buying the Reds. I'm buying the Seattle Mariners.
Actually, I've never bought the Reds at the trade deadline before.
Well, it's a bad time to start. I'm just warning you. Seattle Mariners. Like we mentioned earlier in the episode, I think they could get some pieces, another bat. And Julio Rodriguez is really kind of the centerpiece of this. He's batting like over 330 the last 7 days. Last 7 games of the All-Star break.
And he's batting like 260 over the past 2 seasons.
But he's a guy that could get hot down the stretch and stay hot in the playoffs, and who knows what happens. Especially if they get bats behind him and around him to help bolster him. I think this team can make some moves in the playoffs. And they're a game out, half a game out of a wild card. Yeah, half a game out of a wild card. Tampa Bay is starting to falter, so they're not putting a whole lot of pressure on the Mariners right now. It's just going to be tough with the AL East because it's going to be tough with the AL East. But
Yeah.
Mariners, half a game spot into the wild card. I think they stay there. I think they make the wild card. Honestly, I could see them being. Nah, I don't think they're number one wild card spot, but I think they make the playoffs. And who knows once you get there? We've seen that with the Rangers, Diamondbacks. We've seen that plenty of times recently. Now the team I'm selling, I just mentioned them, the Diamondbacks. I don't think that should come as a shock to anybody. We just went on and how they're going to trade every single one of their players.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not their year. It's not their year. Need I say more, Micah?
I'm selling the Giants. I think the Giants are going to try to add. I'm just not sure that it makes a difference. You look at the NL wildcard picture right now. Dodgers, Padres, 2 guaranteed playoff teams. Cubs, Brewers, I think we'd agree, 2 guaranteed playoff teams. And then the Phillies, guaranteed playoff team. So then you have 1 wildcard spot between Mets, maybe Reds and Cardinals. Probably not the Cardinals at this point, but I guess if they decide to add, you never know. And then Giants and Diamondbacks. And I trust the Mets and even the Reds more so at this point than the Giants. And if I'm going to buy the Reds for the rest of the stretch, I kind of have to sell the Giants because I really struggle to see how the Giants, even with a couple additions, can overhaul the Mets especially over the rest of the season. I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to sell the San Francisco Giants for the remainder of 2025.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm selling the Giants. Obviously, you just mentioned it. A wild card spot will go one. I think you have 1 wild card from the Central, 1 wild card from the West, and 1 wild card from the East. I think it's even across the board in the National League. You have your division winner and whoever comes in second. I think the National League is so tight, you can't come third in the National League and make the playoffs. You won't win 85 games and make the playoffs in the National League. That's where I stand right now.
I could see, yeah,
okay.
Definitely a fair take.
I think one team gets in under 85 wins, and they have 83 minimum.
It's the Reds.
It's not the Reds. It's not.
I wish it was the Reds. But speaking of the Reds, Speedway Classic unis
highlights
dropped today.
Yeah.
What a segue.
Very clean.
Yes. I think they look great. I know some people don't like the race car number font, but I think it looks cool. My favorite piece of the uniform from either team is the Reds hat with the checkered flag across. I think it looks so cool. So Speedway Classic is going to be fun. Obviously, as NASCAR fans, I'm super excited to see a game in Bristol, how that looks for baseball. I know we've seen it for football with Tennessee, Virginia Tech, and some other games over the years, but I think this will be really fun. I'm super excited for it. I would love to see Ellie hit one into the track at Bristol. That'd be pretty cool. So I'm excited for it. I think the uniforms look great.
I think it's a great collaboration between the two sports and in the South, especially with the Braves being there. I think putting a baseball stadium in Bristol, depending on how MLB does it and how they kind of show it and how they sell tickets and build stands, I'm not really too high on the venue. Like I said, collaboration, everything that's going into it, all the media, the marketing, fantastic, love it. I just think the stadium is going to be kind of a letdown.
Who's ready for a baseball game in Bowman Gray next year?
Exactly. Like I'm not excited. like the Field of Dreams games. Oh my gosh, Cornfield. That was exciting. That was really cool. That was you have to go see this. No one's going. Oh, you have to go see the baseball diamond in Bristol. Rickwood Field, historic stadium. It's up there with Fenway.
That was really cool. I think that was.
You have to go
see it. That was my
it.
favorite they've done.
Right. This was just kind of after those two. Oh, okay. What do we?
It feels like
they
were in between years of like, okay, the Field of Dreams isn't ready for us to go back to yet. So what can we do this year? Put it in a NASCAR track.
Yeah, I mean, next year we're going to be playing on Liberty Island. Oh, the Statue of Liberty in the background. That's great, but it's just a stadium on Liberty Island. But if that happens, MLB, I want a paycheck in the mail. But
you're not getting one.
Actually, now that I think about it, Liberty Island, Yankees, Mets, it's happening. Mark it down.
Who's ready for Yankees, Mets in the subway station?
That'd be funny. That would be. I'd go to that.
It's like Mario Super Sluggers. Juan Soto just runs into a pole.
Ugh. I don't even want to think about that. But on that note, that's all we have for baseball. Like we're talking about NASCAR as well right now, so go check out our NASCAR episodes this week. We'll have one already posted and one coming this week when you're watching this, if you're watching it on launch day. And F1 is back, so we'll have that as well. But with that being said, that's been Micah. I've been Keegan, and thank you for watching GTD.